Hello and welcome to the Lord's Last Play. I'm your host, Megan Bent, and in our space today we have the amazing Michael Duggan. How are you today, Mike?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing great. So, how has it been for you these last few weeks, soaking up the accolades of stepping down as the men or all over golf head coach?
It was sad when walking up. It was really cool that the Canadian Championships, we were walking up, my assistant coaches, we were walking up the 18th fairway, actually in a cart, but going up the 18th fairway, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's over, But it was a good run, and just trying to catch up on my regular job now. So.
That sounds like it. Speaking of your regular job, according to my research, you are one of the longest serving athletic staff. When did you start working here at Durham?
October 15th, 1990.
Wow, even down to the date.
I know the exact date. And like I said, we were chatting before we went on. This is exactly what I wanted to do as a career. And I was fortunate enough to play basketball here along Ken Babcock, who just retired. And,
Yes.
I came down to Durham and took a look at it, and I never left.
Never left.
It's amazing.
Oh.
Great place to work.
It makes me wonder if I'll ever leave one day. Now, we are here to talk about golf, but I did discover that you were also the women's basketball head coach at one point.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was hard because I was coaching both golf and women's basketball.
Yes.
And I actually started with Ken when Ken was, before I got hired on here, help out as an assistant coach.
Okay.
And then Ernie Rainbow, who was taught in the sports management program, I was his an assistant coach. And then Ernie left. And so finally I just said, went to Dave Stewart, who was the athletic director at the time, and said, I want it. And I was doing it for a number of years, and I couldn't do both anymore, plus my regular job.
Yes.
At the school. And golf was more my passion. And so that's when I decided just to stick with golf.
Well, not bad for winning a championship, OCAA championship in 97, though. So
Yeah.
Congrats to that.
Thank you.
Looking to your career as a golf coach, did you know coming into this season that you would be stepping down?
You sort of have that inkling. I had an idea. I knew it was close. I figured because we're going to try and host the OCAA championships next year. So I thought, well, maybe that would be a good time to retire, and because I knew it was close. And this year was just, I just couldn't do it anymore. I was sitting in the golf cart, nice sunny day down in Windsor, and I went, yeah, it's time. And I just figured I had a great run, and when it's time. You have that gut feeling, and I had that gut feeling, and I just said, no, it's time.
So that bittersweet moment of attending your last OCAAs and your last national championship.
Yeah, it was a nice way to finish, especially qualifying for the Canadians. We didn't do that well, but at least we represented the school, and
Yes.
The boys had a good time and experienced what a Canadian championship is, because some of them are graduating this year.
And that must be very special to your heart because you basically founded nationals.
Yeah.
So I read in the little history books that you started nationals with Camuson as like an open invitational, and then
Yeah.
it's grown to the CCAA national championships that we know now.
Yeah, Camosun actually out in Victoria Island.
Yes.
And it was just an invitational. We just threw a bunch of ideas together, and Graham Matthews, who was the athletic director at the time out there, and we chatted, and he goes, well, we'll host the first one. And I said, okay, well, I talked to Ken, and we'll host the second. And then I thought, you know what, this needs to go somewhere. People don't know about golf, and especially at the collegiate level. And I said, we need to expose this a little bit further. And so I approached Dave Wilson, who was the president of Ping Canada, Durham grad.
Yes.
From the sports management program. Dave said, put a 5-year plan together and let's see how it goes, because the Ping Karsten family supports amateur golf to the fullest. So I thought, maybe this is an opportunity for them to become a sponsor, and it's been 24 years
Yeah.
for them
Wow.
as the longest running sponsor for any CCAA sport.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did they name like the trophy after you?
No,
Oh, maybe
no.
they should. CCAA, you need to name the trophy after Mike Duggan.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Or maybe we host invitationals as well for golf, correct?
We used to.
We used to.
We
Well,
used
then
to.
we need to also have this one is to Scott Dennis. We need to have a Duggan Classic then
Hey, there you
every
go.
year.
There you go. I'll even come back and run
You'll
it.
come back and run it. There we go. So, what is your favorite memory then as the golf coach?
Uh, Probably there's so many. Obviously, winning my first OCAA championship as a head coach, and then we actually our first year hosting the CCAA's at Lake Ridge, we won a bronze medal.
Wow.
So that was very cool. And then I think the highlight is when I had we call them the German duo. We had Kaylee Kramer, Tiffany Albeth. They're both from Germany. They were here for the golf management program at Durham. And we won our first Canadian championship out
Wow.
in BC. And then lucky enough the next year we won back-to-back
Wow.
championships. So that'll be the highlight. But I think the highlight of my golfing career would be coaching at the FISU Games, the World
Yes.
University Games with Team Canada.
Yeah. And so you were selected on 3 separate occasions, correct?
Yes, I was head coach my last year. We went to the Czech Republic,
Ooh.
and unbelievable country, the architecture. Canada, we did well. I think we finished 5th for the fellas, and the girls, I think we were 7th in the world. So that's
Wow.
pretty good. And then I was an assistant coach twice, once in Spain and once, which was my all-time favorite, was South Africa.
South Africa? Why was South Africa your favorite?
Well, South Africa.
I know.
You know.
I'm dying to go as
You
well.
know, you go and we went on a safari, an actual safari, man, like in the Kruger National Park. And
Wow.
we were going through, and you reach out and you can touch like a rhino. The one Team Ireland was 2 trucks ahead of us in the safari, and next thing you know, these elephants start charging
Oh my
from the
goodness.
mountains, and we're like, oh. And the coordinator, the guy, just said, just don't panic, don't move. It's just the young males were trying to show the parents that I've got this, right? Like
Yes.
their authority. And then that was amazing. And then we went to a lion sanctuary.
Okay.
So we actually, and I have pictures of me face to face with a lion cub right beside my face.
Aw.
And the coolest thing was they drove this old pickup truck, no back on it, and they had the cows or whatever they were feeding them on the back. And the guy driving in had mesh, like wire, as a windshield. And he drives in. The lions, the king or whoever the head was, just comes up, literally grabs with his mouth, pulls the food off the truck drives away.
Wow.
And then it was a feeding frenzy after that, but it was so cool.
Ugh, that sounds amazing. Did
Yeah.
you get to catch any rugby while you were out there?
No, we
No?
didn't see any.
Okay.
We were in Sun City, so there was golf and the casino.
Well, you got to go back and catch some Springbok action.
Yeah, there you go.
Why golf? What made you get started in golf in the first place?
Well, I played it as a junior, right? So you don't really, you're playing as a kid. You're back then, and when I was growing up, we always played all kinds of sports, and golf didn't really sink in. And it was just later in life that I started to take golf a little more competitive, be more competitive with it, and then again the opportunity fell in my lap with being here at the school, and we had lost the golf program in the 80s because of the recession and financial issues, and we were fortunate enough to have Brian McNair, who was one of my players. His dad helped support the team, and we were able to bring it back, and from there it took off.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah, it's
With
amazing.
23 years at the helm.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on to some advice, because you have so many years of experience underneath your belt. What piece of advice would you give to high school athletes who want to pursue post-secondary athletics and specifically golf?
It's a great way to showcase your talents. When we were starting the Canadian Championships, and I was also involved with the Royal Canadian Golf Association, we went out to like a summit out in Winnipeg, actually, to talk how can we get Canadian kids to stay home, and instead of, because everybody wants the dream of going to the NCAA and playing NCAA golf,
Yes.
but not everybody can do that. So, I presented our national championship and they're just like, what? I'm like, yeah, there's 98 colleges across Canada. 36 of those colleges had competitive golf programs. So how can we there's a perfect opportunity to keep kids at home.
Yes.
And all I can say is, you know what? If you want to play golf and you can't make that dream of playing in the NCAA, look to your local colleges, universities, because the OUA has an amazing golf program too. And, if you want to play competitive golf, your local college or university is also a way to go. And, it's a lot of fun. You make new friends and you play a sport that you love.
Yes.
It's like you in rugby.
It's like me in rugby. Yeah. And I mean, even past post-secondary, I feel like almost every company or corporation out there has like charity golf tournaments
Yeah.
or whatnot. I mean, I can't play golf, so maybe I'll have to get you to give me lessons one
Okay,
day.
there you
But
go.
I get a lot of invitations to charity golf tournaments. I'm like, I don't know how to golf. So
But a lot of business deals have
right?
happened over the
That's what I'm
golf
hearing.
course,
Yeah. Okay. So I'm definitely going to take you up. You need to give me some golf lessons.
Sure.
What would you go back and say to yourself in your first year as a coach?
That's a good question. I would think that patience. Like you're dealing with younger kids. You're a coach that sort of just relied on their talent instead of actually. It took me a number of years, and mentoring coaches like Ray Chateau from Humber and Kevin Corriveau from St. Clair College. You learn from other coaches on how they do things, and I was more of a sit back, laid back coach, and if they asked questions, I would answer. But later on, as my coaching career went on, you have to be right in there. You have to be part of. You're almost that. Even though there's 5 people on the team, you're almost that sixth man, because they're relying on your expertise. Sometimes they don't actually ask for help, but that's okay. But that's what I found as I went on and learned from these amazing coaches, that I just need to be more vocal, not sort of loud or anything like that, but just more upfront with them and saying, hey, I'm here. If you need help, I'm here. Right? Instead of relying on themselves and just their game. So that's the biggest thing, is just the communication. You have to be involved from day one as you recruit them to the finishing day when they graduate.
That's very touching. My last question is, what is your favorite thing about being a part of the DC family? Now, you're the intercollegiate manager and you play a significant role in all of our teams. So,
honestly, the day I came to Durham, when I came for sports and the sports management program, and I met Dave and I met Ken, and you play on a basketball team, a varsity team like yourself. You all of a sudden you're like, you bleed green and gold.
yes, I do.
And you hang around. I was a gym rat, and I bled green and gold. Whatever they needed, I was there to help. Same with Ken, and it's a way of giving back, or you want to be a part of that family atmosphere. Durham, back in 1984 when we came, our student population was not even 2,000 students.
Wow.
You know, and my tuition was $575.
Can we go back to that
so,
price?
So a bit of a change, but you're instilled in that family, that small family value. We all look after each other, and as the years went on, you know, you go from a player to a coach to an administrator. You still have those beliefs. I still have those beliefs now after 35 years being in the athletic department, is that I still believe green and gold. I still believe in it.
Yes.
And so that's huge. Not too many people can say that.
Yes. It's like my favorite saying, once a Lord, always a Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. I love being here at Durham. I didn't think I would be here for as long as I did, but I can't imagine doing anything else in the last 4 years. And I hope that I can be fortunate to be here for a long time or involved for a long time. But I definitely think it's that family atmosphere.
Yeah,
and
100%.
we have something very special and something very different here at Durham. And I hope other schools have it. They can replicate it, but they can never duplicate it.
That's
and
right.
So
well, and as you, as
here.
a varsity athlete, and you go to different schools,
Yes.
you know, and you see what they do compared to what we do. Yeah.
We set the bar. Definitely.
We set the bar, and we're doing it the right way. Not only on the field, on the court, on the golf course, but we're also doing it in the classroom.
Yes.
You know, because we do believe that, you know, you're here for a reason. That's to get an education, get that piece of paper, and then leave, then come back as an alumnus.
Yes.
And I believe we're doing that the right way.
I do believe that. And I would be amiss to not mention that we are having our Hall of Fame this Friday, and that's exciting. So we get to honor 4 athletes. And I think it's cool walking down and seeing all of the different Hall of Famers on the wall. Hopefully I can be up there one day. I would love to be. But yeah, like...
Me too.
Yes. Well, you should be up there already. But it's so nice to have the Durham family and to be a part of the alumni network. And I hope that we continue to build a very rich history of not just athletes, but, you know, across all of the Durham College alumnus.
Oh, for sure. And you know, like you said, you go down that alumni hallway, and, you know, as you'll see tomorrow night, and you've been there before, but how many of those Hall of Famers actually come back?
Yes.
And still come back to this day, because again, there's that green and gold, bleed green and gold, and once a Lord, always a Lord.
Yes. Well, it's been so lovely chatting with you, Duggan. Thank you so much for stopping by the podcast. This has been The Lord's Last Play with Megan Bent and Mike Duggan. Please don't forget that you can follow the DCSA Media Hub on Instagram at DCSA Media Hub, and you can always catch me on the women's rugby page at DCW Rugby on Instagram, and you can also follow along and keep up with Mike at the Durham Lords Instagram page. Thank you so much. See you next week.